Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and got a few horror movies to actually do a review on. The first one, this it says 2023, but someplace I actually see it's 2022. Anyway, I guess it was released in the theaters um, majorly in 2023, I guess. So we're talking about The Boogeyman, which is based on a short story by Stephen King. Um, Although to be honest, it doesn't really sound that much like a Stephen King story. I guess so in some parts, but I guess it's the execution of the movie in which I fail to actually see it as a Stephen King movie. Anyway, it is based on a 1973 short story by Stephen King of the same name, The Boogeyman, and it stars nobody that I have ever seen before, with the exception of a character who's in for a brief little bit. Sophie Thatcher, Chris Messina, Vivian Lyra Blair, and David Dastmalchian. I do not know if I mispronounced it, probably I did, but he has been in The Flash, he's been in the TV series Flash, he's also been in The Dark Knight, he's been in the Ant-Man franchise. You see him as one of the friends, and he was in the Suicide Squad, not just Suicide Squad, as the Polka Dot Man. And he's also been in Blade Runner, 2049, Dune, and Prisoner. So he's the only familiar face I actually have in this film. The movie is basically about this young girl who is, her family is recovering from the loss of her mother. You can really see it in this teenage girl. Father's a therapist. He too is struggling to overcome that. He's got a younger daughter as well. They're all kind of like struggling. She died in a car crash. About a year or so later, there's this man named Lester Billings, played by Dastmalchian, comes to his house. He explains that his 3 children have been killed by an evil entity called the Boogeyman, and basically they latch onto a person or a family, and the therapist is he basically feels that he might have done it himself, so he calls the cops. But before he can do that, Lester slips away. You see him off camera, and then he goes up to the attic. You actually think, you're led to believe that he's actually going to kill the older daughter, Sadie, who's the protagonist of the film. But then when she turns, she finds him hanging in her mother's. There's basically a closet in the room that she did all the paintings and stuff, and she finds him there. That leads to this kind of strange mold forming around the house, and the younger daughter, her name is Sawyer. She sees this kind of creature that's in her bedroom, and Sadie starts to believe that it's connected to the man's suicide. She goes and visits the Billings house, meets his ex-wife, who's a little bit off her right, and she tells him that there's this creature known as the Boogeyman is the culprit behind her children's death, and she's trying to catch it. And it can mimic people's voices, it understands your fear and feeds on it, and the only way to kill it is by light, or basically to ward it off. I don't think they can actually kill it. So later there's a girl's, she's got some friends over from her school, and one of the mean girls, and then she basically locks Sadie inside the same closet, and Sadie sees the Boogeyman for a brief while before the door opens. She's really upset with her friends, and then while they're arguing, the Boogeyman creature crawls downstairs and attacks the younger sister Sawyer, who is then and that is the most creepiest part of this movie, to be honest, because it's a little girl. And I'll be honest, Vivian Lyra Blair, the young girl who plays Sawyer, she's cute. She is very sweet and cute. So brings out the dad factor in me, which don't want anything to happen to the little kid, don't want anything to happen to the dog or the cat, but especially not dogs and little kids. So especially little girls, cute as she is. So she's attacked and she's gone to the hospital. And then while at the hospital, Sadie is contacted by the wife of Lester Billings, Rita, and she calls her to the house. Basically, she wants to use her as bait. She doesn't tell her this, and to capture the boogeyman. They do get the boogeyman, but it survives the trap. It kills Rita, and then it chases Sadie. Sadie escapes, but then realizes that now the boogeyman goes for her house and attacks her father along with Sawyer. And Sawyer's hiding in a closet when Sadie reaches out, and the boogeyman basically is taken the dad to the basement. They have to use a little bit of light to, because it's late at night at the moment, to basically get their father back to safety. And in the end, they are able to burn the house down. It has actually felt, to be honest, I actually felt like the creature dies, but apparently it doesn't, because at the end of the movie we see them visiting a family therapist, kind of Dr. Weller, played by, oh yeah, forgot to mention, she is familiar to me, Lisa Gay Hamilton, who used to act in a series called The Practice. I loved that series a lot. I loved her in it as well. She played, I think, the sister of Steve Harris' character, who I think later on becomes a lawyer. She initially starts out being the receptionist or something, the secretary. Maybe she wasn't. Yeah, believe so. Anyway, forget that. So she is the therapist, and then it seems like the family is moving along. This is a few weeks later, a few months later. When they leave, they're about to leave the house. Sadie feels like she's called back, and she goes to the doctor's office, but she sees the therapist is there. However, the closet door just opens, and Sadie goes there, and then she turns around, and the doctor's there asking what happened. She said she just didn't think, she just closes the door. Suspicious, the boogeyman is probably there. Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't really impressed with this film. The creature effects aren't, in the dark, yes, it does work a little bit, but it isn't something that, the movie doesn't really stand out. I'll probably forget this movie in another week or so, probably down a month maybe, maximum month. It's not the story, it's just the execution is what I believe. And like I said, to be honest, I didn't really care about any of the characters, with the exception of Little Sawyer. She captured my heart. There's nothing else much in this movie that actually that made me want to like it so much. Not that I heard great things about this movie, but being a fan of Stephen King, I do definitely want to watch all the movies that is associated with his books and his stories. The movie was made on a budget of 35 million, made around 82.3 million at the box office, which is not bad for a horror movie of that kind. And what will I give this film? It's not very memorable, to be honest, and I would be surprised if I would give it more than a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, I'll probably forget it in a couple of more weeks. I just watched it last week, so already been forgetting a lot of it. But yeah, 6.5 out of 10. Nothing really great. Props to Sawyer, the actress Vivian Leigh Blair. I think she might do great things going on. She's probably around 10 years old. 11, yeah. So I think she's got a bright future. She was, oh yeah, I just clicked on her page. She was, she played Leela Organa, the young Leela Organa, in the streaming series Obi-Wan Kenobi. No wonder she was very familiar. God, she's cute. Yeah. All right. That's it for this film. 6.5 out of 10. Take care.